Welcome to Command and Conquer Rivals Top 5 Episode 2. This is actually like the fourth or fifth one I've done. However, the second one and the third one for sure, and like a partial one, all got deleted with the last couple updates. I had them ready to record, and as I was recording, or right before they updated, deleted all my favorites, and they were gone, which is really sad because there were some juicy ones in there. Um, Now, this one still has some decents. Let's go over. I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. Some of these I did already rewatch to remember why they were in there. This first one, I called it Drop Hammer because this guy, he's got nines across the board except for his rocket squads, which are eights. And I was running eights across the boards and a seven. Anyway, let's go ahead and watch this, though. And I totally demolished this guy, even with his higher levels. And there is some in here that I lose as well, but we'll get to those eventually. So I have the Harvester start. He's going for the Scout start. So technically I have a money advantage right now. He's got his Harvester, so we do have very similar starts. He does have a level on me, I know, so I built a second Rifleman. He's got his second Rifleman, which he runs through the Tiberium. That wasn't very smart of him. And I managed to attack both of his guys, but again, I didn't concentrate fire, neither did he. He dropped a turret, which cost a lot more. So, I mean, even though he won that with significant health left, that's just because of his levels, he still lost more money. Now, I've decided to pull out a tank because I could fight the Rifleman. I figured I could try to avoid rocket squads and go for his Harvester. If he built a second Harvester, I'd be able to keep him from doing that and getting too much. But he did go for the rocket squad, so, you know, I'm doing what I can to the Rifleman, bring in some Riflemen of my own. Because it's infantry heavy at this point, I've got the Tiberium troopers. They're just going to demolish his infantry. And now I can send my tank on through. Looks like I'm still going after his Harvester. Even though I need to be on the point because of capturing. Oh, that's what I did. Used the Tiberium missile to clear off a point and tried to get the missile. But he got his thing. And because of my Tiberium troopers in that cloud, I didn't judge it properly and lost my guys too. So I actually was losing at this point. But I think I have the money advantage because I killed the Harvester and he's not harvesting. Or I just run it away. I wasn't paying that close of attention. Either way, he's not harvesting right now, which is a huge mistake. I got a Catalyst missile which wiped out everything he had with that rocket squad. So I've got this missile in the bag. Took way too long, and I've got another tank pushing forward on him. More Riflemen to deal with his. And the reason I'm doing Riflemen instead of more of the Tiberium troopers is because I'm trying to get multiple points. I'm trying to keep sight on him. I'm also low on money because I was using those Catalyst missiles. I pumped out the tank. Anyway, but I did eventually get out the Tiberium troopers. I've got the Riflemen just doing what I can to keep him busy on his side while I, keep as many points as possible. It's missiles over half. I instantly care about the points. My bomber did not go across to do stuff. It's just sitting there. I see that he's got a bunch of infantry, so I've got more chemical troopers going to hold that far point, and I use a missile to clear it. And I mean, this guy just gave up, I think, at this point, because as soon as he lost all those troops again. And the really sad part is, money-wise, I was not winning that. Like, for using that Tiberium missile the way that I was. But unit-wise, I was taking out 3 units at its power. 3 or 4 units several times. And so he had to fight more numbers as well as things that were countering him. So, anyway, like I said, he was a higher-level guy. He didn't really build anything that much of a threat. He messed up with his Harvester a little bit, and I just countered him across the board. I dropped the hammer on him. Anyway, let's go ahead and take that off our list. Now, this one I called Pay to Fail. This guy obviously paid to get where he's at because he's a much lower level rank than me. I got very few medals from this game. I had to rewatch this. Like, why did I keep this? But he obviously spent money on this game recently to level up his troops. But he was still playing at a much lower level skill. I mean, he's running a bunch of high-tech units. 3 high-tech units, which don't even have a real synergy. Well, 2 from his tech lab, and he's got that bomber, which is expensive. He's got a lot of expensive stuff. He doesn't have the rifleman, so he almost has to start with the war factory or he's in trouble. And then he's got all 4 buildings: barracks, war factory, airfield, and tech lab. So many things wrong with this. But anyway, again, he's got levels. He might be a lower rank, but he's got some levels over me. So, I mean, in theory, he should be able to win this one. But I do have experience, so... And he starts with a war factory and an APC. So unless he was going to go for a buggy right away next, or not buggy, a pit bull, that was not a smart move. He should have gone for the harvester than the APC. And there's the harvester. And I'm just avoiding his rhino. I said buggy. With my rifleman, holding on to the point. And I've got my war factory. Normally I'd like to wait for a tank, but I didn't want him doing more damage to my harvester. Plus I wanted to get the speed to get over to his, because I saw he didn't have anything. But I saw he got the tank. I'm like, oh, I need to avoid that while building anti-tank. So I got the rocket squads out. And I'm trying to run away with my buggy. Or not my buggy, my pit bull. I mean, if I could do some hit and run, or like right now his little rhino's busy shooting my rocket squads. I got the pit bull running by doing some damage to help them out. I got more rocket squads blocking off the tank, and then I'm going to try to get that pit bull out of there again. While he's shooting the rocket squad, it could get a couple shots off. Now I'm going to go help out the other rocket squads. That pit bull is doing work. I mean, it has killed 2 buggies now. It has done some damage to that tank. It has taken very little damage. And at this point, I'm just like, you know what? I gotta get away from these tanks. I can't do anything here. So I'm going for the harvester. Get a few more shots off on that pit bull. Use my boost to, get as much damage out as possible. And get in position. He goes for his second harvester. This isn't good. I've got a missile on him. I'm, pounding away at his harvester. Even if I don't get it, it will be an easy kill. And I did damage to his other harvester. I've got my rocket squads. APC holding the bottom right. I'm moving that forward because I only need 1. I don't have to hold 2. The timer goes at the same speed. I'm just putting everything on him, making him fight for every inch of territory. Anyway. Oh yeah, and I pulled that APC back because it was about to die in the tank. Wanted to get him into where he had to fight with, the tank against the rocket squad and the APC. But he built a Wolverine, which actually counters my APCs quite well. But he's in the middle of a lot of rocket squads with it. And I've got another one holding the bottom. The whole point of that is to just sort of block him off. Bring in a tank to deal with the Wolverines at this point. And his tank. If I had the opportunity, I would have sent something out to take out his weakened harvester. But at this point, I just want to make sure I get this missile. So I'm trying to send rocket squads to help with the Wolverine up top, because otherwise I'll lose. Move my tank forward to put that under stun. I got rocket squads on the bottom, just blasting away. And now this is perfect. He has a sandstorm. It's really good vehicles in air. It's not good against the rocket squads, and it can't fire both in front of it and behind it. It can fire 3 targets in a V in front of it. So by pinning him between both those units, he had to choose between fighting the rocket squads, which he was initially shooting into bad damage against. He might have killed the rocket squad. Actually, I don't think he would have. He would have died before then. Or switch targets like he did and hope to take out the tank again before he died, leaving the rocket squads at near full health. But yeah, that was another victory just because he had put money into it and didn't have the experience. He was fighting much higher level people than he should have. Oh yeah, I'm out of favorites. Alright, that was pay to fail. Let's go on to failed pressure. Now this one, we both failed. I failed really bad. I tried to put the pressure on him, and I failed. He tried to put pressure on me, and he failed. We both sort of dropped the ball. I did manage to come out on top. I don't remember. Okay, I started with a rare rush for me with the Pitbull. I don't usually rush with the Pitbull right off the bat. I do like to harass with it. But every now and then, I think, you know what? they're not going to expect it. Why not? I like to mix up my strategies. I don't stick with one strategy. If you expect me to play a certain way, I'm going to surprise you. But he did a perfect counter to it. He got out a second rocket squad, pinned my Pitbull in so I couldn't run around. I failed miserably. That was my failure on the pressure. I did get out my Harvester. Got some riflemen to deal with his rocket squads, but at this point I see he's got a Rhino, right as I popped out the second rifleman, sadly. Now he's popping out even more rocket squads. This is something that was unnecessary. He could see my 2 riflemen. He knows that I've got anti-infantry, but he's building anti-tank. He should have built something to deal with riflemen, not a third anti-tank unit. And all 3 of them are just sitting there. Just sitting there. His Rhino's trying to kill my, riflemen, while my Pitbull, I did that same trick, went through my guys, taking out that thing while taking very little damage, blocking him off with an APC. And I thought he only had 2 rocket squads. I didn't realize he had built a third, so I think I tried to go around and damage his Harvester. Maybe he's only got 1 there. Nope. He's got 2 that have just been sitting there. But my APC's got his Rhino blocked off. I've got Rifleman killing his rocket squad. Got another APC coming in to try to hold that point. I do fail to take the point, though. So, but managed to kill his guys with the vehicle. He moves rocket squads up. I've got a tank coming to deal with the Wolverine. Move my other APC over here. So now we've got neutral stuff across the board. But I win the bottom right. And I'm keeping my tank up there as the sacrificial lamb while bringing in an APC to try to deal with the rocket squads. And then the other APC, which I'm switching with the tank. See, I tried to do that to get the tank out of there and get APC fighting the rocket squads instead of a tank fighting rocket squads. And to deal with this air guy which popped up. I've got more rocket squads coming because that air unit is very good against vehicles. It's not good against infantry. So my rocket squads should tear it up. Another thing, though, it's supposed to be able to shoot 3 units at once. It's not doing that. It's only shooting 1 at a time. And I don't know if that's me not understanding how that unit works. And he tries building a bunch of these jet troopers. That was not a good choice. I've got infantry. I've got APCs. Yeah, but jet troopers, I could get tore up by APCs. I mean, the only thing that could have killed was my tank. But anyway, again, because he's got a bunch of vehicles at this point, I have out a mammoth tank. So I got the money. I wasn't building for a little while there. So, boom. I'm thinking I want to push up with this mammoth tank, bring something else in to cover it behind it, so I've got all 3 points. Because, that missile's getting close. I want to get those 3 points. And I also went to harass his Harvester to try to pull him off, because that thing wasn't going to do anything against, that air unit or against those rocket squads. It could have quickly moved in place of that other APC, but it turned out to be unnecessary. And I got the victory on that. But, I mean, I failed at first to get the pressure on him, and then he failed to put the pressure on me when he had, APCs and 3 rocket squads just sitting there. He could have blocked that. He could have done so much with that. He should have built only the 2 rocket squads and then something else to push me back. If he had pushed me back, that first missile would have been his. He would have had a lot longer to go. And he started building tech units at the end, too. If he had, continued doing that and the game had gone longer, I would have been in a lot more trouble. So, like I said, that game was almost hard to watch because I did so bad, and at the same time, so did he. It was a nightmare of a game. And I see a lot of that with people. A lot of times, I'll be like, oh my god, that's hard to watch. You did so bad. But you know what? In the heat of battle, people make mistakes. Things happen. Maybe you got a phone call. Maybe you're distracted at your house. Maybe there's just a little typo, and then you're so frustrated you lost your cool. Alright, now here's one where I lost, but I think is worthy of you guys to see. I actually tried duplicating this, and it does seem to work quite well. I lost a couple times trying to duplicate it because I was too focused on duplicating it. I don't think it should be a main focus. But this guy beat me with 2 ion cannons. And all he did was send something fast that could do decent damage against my base, ion cannon it. And he did that twice, and managed to get just 1 of the missiles, and that was enough to kill my base. But I sped this up a little bit because most of the combat's less important. I'm trying to counter him. He's got a lot of air. Here's the thing. He's got those jet troopers, right? He gets the first missile. Now he's given up. He's going straight for my base. Use the jet troopers, use the ion cannon. And I'm getting the missile at this point. He's got another set of jet troopers. And no, those weren't the ones. It's a different set. It's going to come up here. There they are. Second set of jet troopers comes over. Boom. Second ion cannon completely destroys my base. So he only had to get one missile. Now, he got the first missile. That's the important part of the strategy. He managed to get the first missile. So now I have to get two missiles. And in the time it takes me to get two, he was betting and banking that he could destroy my base before I could get two missiles. And that was a good bet because he got it. I mean, I managed to get, I think, one of them. I can't tell from here. But anyway, it doesn't matter because, I mean, two ion cannons taking out a half of a base. I didn't realize they did that much damage to the base. And, I mean, that was just like, wow. I mean, yeah, it wasn't really enough by itself to kill it. It was enough to bring me to a sliver. But the damage from those units that he brought over so that he could fire that at my base was enough to completely demolish my base. And there was nothing I could do about that. I killed those guys fast. But, I mean, like I said, his leader power was just enough. He just had to use it twice. He had to use it once, let it cool down, and use it again. That's all it took. Like I said, really good strategy. I tried duplicating that with slower units first, using the disruptors, and then an air unit, the anti-air unit, which could go over real fast, bomb the base, and then, ion cannon. And while that did work, because they were a little bit slower than, say, the jet troopers, it was actually a lot easier to prevent or stop. Also, I made the mistake of focusing on that from the get-go. I would try to go for that, try to get a missile, then go for that. That was a huge flaw. That actually lost me a lot of games. Focus on getting the first missile first, completely on the missile. And then, at that point, if you have the first missile, you could give up on everything and go for the ion cannon. And he didn't even give up on everything. He was still fighting for the missiles. So he did it exceptionally well. But that is something that I just never really thought used just the ion cannon to blow up a base practically. I mean, I've seen people finish off a base or use the ion cannon on the base before, but not the double ion cannon to wipe it out entirely because of that first missile. It's a good tactic. Something worth trying out. You guys might enjoy it. Might be against someone you think, oh, I've got no chance against this guy. But then you realize, hey, wait, I managed to get the first missile because he was going for money or double harvesters or something silly like that. And then just send something fast, ion cannon. Send something fast, ion cannon. Game, you won. And you drop the hammer on him, right? Alright, so this is never do this. This guy's got 8s and mostly 9s across the board against my 8s. So he should have won just by level. Built to kill. From Ascendance. And I believe, if I recall correctly, he lost because he just kept making the same mistake over and over again. If it's it might be fun to do like an all infantry, all tanker, all air army, but it's not smart. And he obviously does not have an all one army, but he got stuck into a tactic, and he kept doing it. Mix up your strategy. Even if you have to go back to your early game stuff a little bit, mix it up. I mean, if it's working, yeah, use it. But if it's not working, don't keep doing it. See, almost right away, he went from infantry to these air units. They're level 9 air units. And they're good against infantry, and they can fight air. But I've got rocket squads, which are cheaper. So it's giving me a money advantage. I'm also harassing his harvesters. Now I have a huge money advantage. He's still building these same guys, even though he was losing with them. He's going for sheer numbers. I'm not even seeing a harvester being rebuilt because he's so obsessed with just building these air units. I've got rocket guys. I've got bombers will fight them pretty fair one-on-one, but they're 60 to 30. So it's not good for me to use my bombers to fight those air units. But I can harass his harvester with them and other things. The rocket squads, they give me more money. It is good for me to use the rocket squads on him. He might win, but I used a 20 cost guy to essentially bring down a 30 cost guy. And then my anti-air unit my Phantom. There we go. Forgot the name for a second. It's really good against those units, but it takes a second to reload. It's vulnerable while it's reloading. But like, if one Phantom, even though it costs more, can take out like 3, 4 of those units, I'm taking out 3 units with one. So that gives me a huge numbers advantage, which is important because with my rocket squads, I'm kind of losing the numbers advantage. I'm earning money, but losing numbers. With the Phantoms, even if I only take out 2 or 3 of them, I'm losing money, but earning numbers. You see what I'm saying? They kind of complement each other quite well. Um, so yeah, I mean, he just got stuck with the same tactic, thinking these guys fight infantry and air. they they could win against the Phantoms if you're looking at sheer money, and he can do it with numbers. They could win against the rocket squads, but only again with sheer numbers, not with money. And he did not have the numbers to do it because the combination of those two was just too much for him. I mean, like I said, the Phantoms kept his numbers down, and then the rocket squads kept my money up. So he was at a disadvantage across the board, even though he had a level advantage on me. And I mean, if he didn't have that level advantage, he would have just been so badly beat here. I mean, instead of my Phantoms shooting him and leaving him at like 1%, and I need to either reload and shoot again, or I've got to have him damaged first or damaged after. They should be able to like one-shot them if he didn't have a level advantage. My rocket squads, which were attacking him, and he had like maybe 30% health left. If they were a level equal, he should have been at like 1% health or something low like that, 10%. Definitely not no 30% health. Um, so, I mean, the only thing that even kept him in that game where it looked as even as it did was his level advantage. I think someone's at my house, but it's too early. Anyway, maybe my cat's getting the stuff. I'm going to have to go check on it. I think that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Top 5. Sorry it's been so long, and I'm sorry we missed a whole bunch, but I, I will hopefully get some similar replays to some of those. And I will be doing another episode over air units soon. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well. Talk to you later.